Alright guys, here we have a 2001 Yamaha G16. This is like a G16 AW based on the serial number. This one here is a crank no start, and it'll crank over, it'll crank over for a while, it'll smell like gas, and then it'll eventually fire up. So I'm definitely going to put my suspicions on the carburetor being a little gunked up, which is more than likely since that seems to be the running theme this year. Anyway, I just want to be, open and honest with full disclosure here. This is going to be the second take on this entire video because I forgot to hit record when I took the seat off. So let's get into it again. All right, let's get this airbox off again. Can't believe I forgot to hit record. The other thing I want to take note of, or I want to be made aware in this video, is the battery hold down cable or bracket was off. When I unloaded it off the trailer, it basically fell off the cart. So we have to reinstall that. Let's get this air filter out of the way. And it just so happens out of my hands, out of frame here, I do have all the tools I need to remove this. They just happen to be there. All right, so you need a 10mm socket to remove the two 10mm bolts. Back here on the back side of the airbox. I know my arm's in the way. The airbox is held to the carburetor with two 12mm nuts. I usually just break them loose and then I can get them off by hand. They're usually pretty easy to come off. Usually. I throw everything right back in the airbox so I don't lose it. One thing I really like about these Yamaha not drives, but the G16s and the 22s, there's a lot of room to get in here from the top side. You don't have to necessarily crawl underneath it to remove them. On the Yamaha drive, you have to get them from underneath. Okay. The PCV hose was connected originally, but I didn't hook it back up when I put this all back together. So that way I could redo the video from scratch. These little clevis pins, make sure you put the clip and the pin together so you don't lose them. Alright, like I said, I throw all that stuff in the airbox. Phillips head screwdriver to remove this Phillips head screw. Lift off the retaining clip to take the choke lever off. There is an E-clip that holds the throttle cable on, but I didn't put it back on. So what I like to do is grab these clips. I usually use needle nose pliers, and if the fuel line is stuck, I'll grab it with the pliers and kind of twist it like this, but on the nipple, so that way it's freed up. But like I said, because I've already done this, it comes right off. I'm going to take the carburetor over to the bench to clean it, or I usually do it right here. It doesn't matter. I don't get it all over the place. I always keep it in a little pan. I've already tested the fuel pump. It does pump. I pumped it back into the tank. We are going to change this fuel filter right here before we run the system, just to make sure everything's good. Let me go over to the bench and clean this. It's not really that dirty on the outside, but if you want to see how I clean a carburetor, I have a bunch of videos on Yamaha's E-Z-Go's and Club Cars of cleaning their carburetors. I'm not going to do this one because this is, like I said, this is the second time I'm taking this apart to do this, so I'm going to go clean this. I'll be right back. Okay, so carb's clean. I just kind of sprayed the outside a little bit with the carb cleaner. I didn't really go too nuts with it since, outside of the carb being clean is irrelevant. All right, I'm gonna hook the fuel line up. It really wasn't dirty inside, so we'll have to see what's going on, see if it starts right up. It's possible there was a little bit of moisture and it drained out the bottom when I took the nut off the bottom of the bowl, so we'll see. We'll see what happens. One little tech tip for you: if you're working on the carburetor and trying to get things to stay on it and it keeps sliding around, put one of the nuts on. That way it can't float around on you when it's on the cart here, because that's really annoying when you're trying to attach things and it keeps slipping off of the whatchamacallit there. All right, let's get our pins in. Put the choke clevis pin in and put the clevis pin retaining clip in. we'll take the choke cable. I'm going to take this off and get it out of my way. Retaining clip, choke cable retaining clip. Especially when you got these cables that are all tense and short and they have really no flexibility to them. It's nice to be able to keep the carburetor from flying off on you. Also, the choke cable lever was a little loose, so I went ahead and tightened it down. All right, next we're going to do our throttle cable. There's a hook right here on the engine. You want to make sure that it's hooked to that. I'm going to attach the rubber boot, the weather boot, make sure it's good. I take the accelerator cable. This is technically the accelerator cable. Or is this the throttle cable? I don't know. I think it's really dumb. There's two cables on these things. One goes from the accelerator pedal to the governor, and then the governor to the throttle body on the carb. So maybe this is the governor cable and the other one's the throttle cable. I don't know. I don't really care. It's a cable. It's all that matters. All right, now we're going to try to get this clevis, or the E-clip on. They do make a tool for E-clips that allow you to grab them nice and tight and put them on, but I find using a pair of side cutters or dikes works really well for this in most cases, because it allows you to grab onto it and push it in and get it to snap in place. Okay, there. Now that's actually tight. The last time, when I took it off the first time, it was on the bottom with the opening facing up, and it came off with my fingers. It wasn't even on there very tight. All right, so that's all the stuff and crap we have to install on the carb itself. I'm going to remove this nut. I'm hearing thunder outside. I bet you we got a little storm cell coming. I'm going to reinstall our PCV hose. Take the hardware out of the airbox. Reinstall the airbox onto the carburetor. It's getting dark outside. Must be a little storm cell coming. I was checking out some of those YouTube videos out in, what was it, Iowa, that had that, what do they call that, a derecho, a Derico, whatever it's called. I've heard it said both ways, so I don't know which way is correct. I guess it's like tomato, whatever. Maybe I'm wrong, I don't know. But I can't believe that. It's like a miniature hurricane, the way those things blow through. Ooh, almost dropped that. If it starts to really get whipping out there, I'm going to have to run out and close the windows on my vehicle. There we go. I like to tighten the nuts down on the carburetor first and then tighten the two bolts on the back of the airbox, because that allows for the, in my opinion, it allows for the carburetor or the gasket to be evenly seated properly over that. And this, I just get them tight. I don't reef them down really tight. They're just to hold it in place. All right, we're going to put in the old air filter until I talk to the customer to see if they want me to replace it. I think they want me to get it running first, and then we'll go from there. The airbox on. I still have to change the oil, or yeah, the air filter, which is what I'm going to do now. Looks like this is fairly clean, but I always change them. Anytime I do carburetor work, it is my policy to change the fuel filter. The way I see it is, would you rather pay me the extra $3 or $4 or whatever these things cost, $2? I don't know what the hell they are, I have to look. And know that your fuel system has a nice clean filter on it? Or would you rather argue with me over having a clean fuel filter on your cart? Well, the answer to that is you wouldn't believe, oh, this isn't going to come off easily. See, this is with these barbed fuel filters. These, oh, look at that. Look at that, it broke right off. I wasn't even really twisting on that hard. This is why I don't like these barbed fittings, because now I got to cut this fuel line back. Right to there. All right, so for those of you just curious, yes, I do date my air filters, or I put a date on them. Today is, I believe it's August 8, 25, 20. Yes, that is today's date. I put the date on them because, one, I know that it was me that did it because I don't know anybody else that dates the filters. I'm sure there's guys out there that do. This fuel filter has a little crack in it, so I am going to cut this little piece off. Ooh, that went flying. And then hook this back on here. Oh, that's not the right clamp. I don't have any clamps. I'm still waiting for them to come in. You know, that's another thing I want to bring up before I forget. I've had a part on order for a Yamaha G16, the stop switch. I ordered last week. It is now almost 2 weeks since I gotten it, and every single day this week it's been out for delivery, and it's the 25th, so today's what? Tuesday. It was out for delivery since last Friday, and every day it has not shown up, and I've watched the FedEx guy drive past the house. It goes flying up the road. So I am extremely pissed off at FedEx. I hate FedEx. I don't like when anything ships FedEx. At all costs, I try to use UPS. And this has happened to me long before this whole situation that's going on, so they can't blame it on that anymore. They just suck. Okay, let's see if it cranks over and starts. I wonder if my camera's gonna fall, so here we go. Let's see what happens. You guys should be able to see this fill up. Actually, let's see if you can see it fill up. I don't know what it's running on because there's no fuel in that filter yet. Oh, I know what it is. There we go. I forgot about the residual fuel that was in the fuel pump. So there we go. That fires right up. That's awesome. Now I'm gonna go take it for, well, I'm gonna wait till the rain blows by, but then I'm gonna take it for a road test. And just like that, she's done. Took it for a road test. Just after the rain quit, the sun's actually back out again, so that's good. Cart ran great. It started right up, stopped, started, steered. Yeah, stopped, started, steers as it should. So this one is a dunzo. So all right guys, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Don't forget to check the video's description down below for links, Amazon store, all that fun stuff. Like, comment, subscribe if you haven't. We'll see you in the next one.